Viewers, welcome back to the Matt VidPro AI channel. Adobe has released some very interesting news today. It is now abundantly clear that they are all in on AI technology. No more messing around from Adobe. Let's dive in. So viewers, I'm going to start us off today with this tweet. This is going to give us a basic rundown of what the news is, but we are going to be doing some testing today. Min Choi here on Twitter is giving us this rundown. First off, we've got Generative Fill from Adobe. This is the first copilot in creative and design workflows. It is obviously powered by Adobe Firefly, which is a very good image generator that we've talked about before on this channel, and currently only Photoshop subscribers have access to this. But you can see how good this truly is. We're starting off with just this original image and completely expanding what is around it. And I mean, you can't even really tell. Like, if we take a closer look at this, it's pretty blurry, so obviously it's not going to be super high resolution, but yeah, I really can't tell that the rest of the outside of this image is fully AI generated. It did a great job expanding upon the information that we already had. So this is definitely the best AI expansion technology that I have seen thus far. DALL-E can obviously do outpainting in a very similar way, but it is nowhere near this good. Adobe also added Remove tool that gets rid of unwanted images or objects. This is very similar to Google's Magic Eraser that they have in their photo tools. You simply remove objects by brushing over them, and it does its best to seamlessly maintain the fidelity of progression, meaning it's going to connect these lines up completely smoothly. And taking a closer look into this one, there is definitely a little bit of a weird bowing that goes on over on this side, at the very least you could tell, and I'm very surprised by how well it handled all of this down here. But we'll see how it works in complex scenes. I've tried Google's Magic Eraser before, and it's pretty good, but I would not say it's this good. This is very impressive. Adobe has also introduced their contextual bar, and this is just really mind-blowing to me, but it recommends the most relevant next step in your workflow. And essentially what this allows you to do is reduce the number of clicks, making your workflow as seamless and efficient as possible. So let's say we just uploaded this photo of a flower. It's going to go down here and say, oh, do you want to select the subject or would you want to remove the background? And then you can just simply click on it. So the AI is actually recognizing what you're doing and what this image is all about. We then choose to select the subject there, and then it gives you some more relevant options based off of what you already selected. So it just makes your workflow a lot snappier and a lot faster if you're doing something that is not super atypical in Photoshop. Adobe definitely decided they did not want to be left behind on this whole AI technology game, that is for sure. And we've got another example with the generative AI, simply stating that the possibilities are truly endless when generative AI is integrated right into the workflow. And we see a pretty complex Photoshop example where this is actually our starting image, and then we add an entire tiger into our workflow. And not only that, we can actually add a gorilla too. So the creativity is truly endless. There's no doubt in my mind that Photoshop will still be the main place to modify and edit photos, especially if they're integrating really good AI tools this quickly. So on Adobe's official blog, we can see some more examples. They've got this little 5-second clip where first we start with this initial image someone obviously took as a photo. They then essentially outpainted or expanded the image, added a pool right in front of this building with accurate reflections, tossed in some clouds, then went ahead and added 2 elephants right next to the pool, and finally filled it in with some more nature, and made one final adjustment to this tree, and there is your final image, all done with Adobe Firefly. Really, quite magical technology. I cannot wait to put this to the test. We've also got some different examples of editing this original image, and I thought this was pretty cool. You know, you take a really nice photo of a dog, and then you add some extra details in. I'm not sure why you'd want this truck moving in the background, but either way, you can add the bubbles and the puddle and all the trees and the nice light and everything, and it looks like a really nice final image. It's going to be very exciting to see what we are going to be able to do with this app. Generative Fill really looks like it's going to be a huge power tool and really change everything. I will note though, in all of these examples, they're starting off with really nice pictures that already exist, so we'll see how some of my own photos work out. And I mean, check out this amount of generative fill. This is insane to me. It really did quite a good job just guessing what's around it. Generative fill might be the most powerful outpainting tool we've seen yet. Here we have Adobe showing off the power of generative fill with the selection tool. You can take this photo of a guy holding a whip, and now the whip is made out of spaghetti, and he's changing it to different kinds of spaghetti as well. I will link this entire blog down below because there is an absolute ton of information that they've provided here. All of these different use cases and different ways you can use the technology. If you viewers are wondering if we have access to this, yes, we do through the Adobe Photoshop beta app. This is regular Photoshop though, which is a paid program, which really stinks. You can do like 7-day free trials and stuff. That's what I do because I actually don't use or pay for Photoshop. I've paid for it in the past, but I never used it enough. We'll see. This feature might make me want to actually pay for it, but it's quite expensive. All right, viewers, I've booted up into Adobe Photoshop Beta. It is separate from the regular Photoshop in Adobe Creative Cloud, so that's something to note. In the description, I'll leave a link that'll just take you right to the app in your Creative Cloud. All right, I've opened up this photo in Photoshop. As you can see, we already have this automatic Copilot working at the bottom here. We can go ahead and drag this anywhere, so I'll just leave it right here for now. It's saying that we either might want to select the subject or remove the background from this. Well, I imagine those are two things I might want to do. What I really want to try out is that generative fill feature. So what they had in their demo was I could just lasso something like this is pretty ugly. I want to get rid of that. And there it is, the generative fill feature comes right up. I guess it's a part of this little Copilot here telling me, oh, do you want to do this feature? That's what makes sense. Sure, let's do generative fill. Go ahead and agree to it. Describe what you'd like to generate, or feel free to leave this blank. Let's go ahead and just leave it blank right now because we're just trying to replace like a background object. We're not trying to create new stuff. Just click the generate button there and it goes ahead and loads here. I don't think that it's doing any of this processing on my system that I have. I think this is all being processed in the cloud somewhere. And there's the generative fill. It did a pretty good job, actually. I'm impressed by that. That is almost flawless. Let's go ahead and lasso the rest of this pole because that is pretty ugly as well. I don't want that in my image. More generative fill. Go ahead and generate. It generates pretty quickly. I'm pretty impressed with the loading times on this. I imagine the more you generate, the more difficult it's going to be and the longer it's going to take. And wow, it did it again. It did a really good job. Wow, I'm actually really impressed by that. If we take a little zoom in here, that's the cat's face, go upwards. Okay, you can definitely tell when you get up close because this photo has a lot of grains in it. But if your photo was not very grainy, this would look flawless. And from far away, you can't even tell. Most photos are not going to have all of this grain that you see. Fascinating, really astonishing. It looks so good from far away, like you can't even tell that it was ever even there. Impressive. Now, let's take this further. I want to give this cat a little top hat, all right? We'll go ahead and we'll just circle this whole... Let's do like a very basic prompt. I don't have high hopes for this. I feel like you're going to need to learn how to prompt this thing, but I'm just going to say bright red top hat and click generate, and we'll see what happens. Oh, okay, it did a pretty good job. And can you scroll through different iterations? Oh, okay, it does do different iterations of this. That one's pretty realistic, I would say. It's definitely not a top hat. That's more of a top hat. Okay, I am really impressed so far. This is like next-gen stuff, man. This is awesome. A lot of people are like, oh, AI is going to kill Photoshop. Nah, Photoshop's got it unlocked. They're just integrating it in. I might actually have to start paying for this just to have generative fill. Oh my god, Photoshop's expensive, though. Okay, it might be worth it, though. There are some decent plans. Oh my god, this is awesome. Wonder if I can clean this up just a little bit. I'm so impressed. This is way better than DALL-E 2's inpainting or any inpainting I've ever seen. This is really what this is. They call it generative fill, but this is inpainting. Oh, and it fixed it up. It cleaned it up too. There's a bunch of different little ones you can pick from. That one's probably going to be the best one, I suppose. I'm just going to go with that. I'll go ahead and move this out of the way. Wow. Okay. There we go. It actually was able to remove this spot and then give the cat like a little hat. This is insane. Oh my god, Photoshop just got like this crazy ease of use upgrade. Like the combination of generative fill plus this tool right here makes Photoshop way more powerful and way easier to use. Like I don't know how to use Photoshop at all. I have like almost zero experience with it, and I'm able to figure all this out. This is mind-blowing. All right, let's see. Let's do some expansion. I really want like a little Copilot chatbot I can ask so it can tell me how to like do stuff and change things in Photoshop, because I don't know how to use Photoshop at all. Photoshop would be a world-class, well, it already is like a world-class leading tool, but Photoshop would be so much more accessible to everybody, and I'm sure more and more people would pay for it if it was easier to use with like a little AI chatbot. I wanted to pull my face over and note that over here, each individual layer here of the generative AI is something that you can change and remove. So we can completely remove the hat here. We can completely remove our generative layer. So it's actually creating new little images that get splashed on top of your previous image. So you can see this is everything that we generated with the generative AI so far. Man, I am rarely impressed to this level. This is a game changer. I thought that this was going to be like pretty cool, but not really that great. This is phenomenal. All right, we'll try to do it with the crop tool maybe. If we do something like this. Okay, that does actually work. So let's go ahead and expand this out. All right, so now if I select just this portion, can we do all right, we'll do a generative fill now on this. I wonder if it's going to be able to pick up on this information and the whole context behind this. The prompt here is simply photo of a cute puppy wearing a blue top hat sitting in the grass. So to the left of this cat, we're going to have a puppy, and we'll click the generate button here. I'm expecting this to take longer than the other generative AIs, but we'll see. Maybe it's just the same amount of time. That's how DALL-E is, by the way. Even if you do a small area of inpainting in DALL-E, it's just the same amount of time to generate. And yeah, it looks like that is still the case. Wow, okay. Pretty good so far. Wow, it really was able to capture what the grass looks like in my front yard, because I took this picture of my front yard. That is insane. That actually looks like almost the rest of my front yard, as shocking as that is. We've got this one. This one's maybe a little bit better. Wow, it blends in so well. It blends in phenomenally. I think that the stuff that they showed off in their press materials are actually not really showing the true potential of this. Look at that. Okay, this one's great. All right, so you do get, let's see, 3 images every generation here. Okay, I mean, paying for Photoshop, this might make it more worth it. Like, this is so easy to use, guys. So here's what I also was wondering about this. This photo I have was like a 26 megapixel photo, which is pretty high resolution. Yeah, okay, so the resolution of this stuff is still fairly low. You're not getting the same high resolution as your photos. So in some professional applications, like you can see, there's a clear drop-off in resolution there. But I mean, for most applications, it doesn't even matter. This is mind-boggling, and it even kept the same style of hat. I could just do edits on edits on edits and really fine-tune my photos to be exactly what I want them to be. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and change the color on this because it doesn't look very good. We'll just circle this, generative fill, and we'll just say nothing maybe. We just want to remove the color altogether. He doesn't need a color. The generated images were removed because they violate user guidelines. I didn't even prompt it. Try this again, and it happened again. Is it just because it looks like skin? What if I prompt it here? Just say like dog fur. There we go. The dog fur one actually worked. And yeah, it seemed to do a pretty good job. This changes Photoshop entirely and changes the way that we can edit photos. All you really need is a computer and the money to buy Photoshop, and you are like creating some insane stuff. We'll go ahead and fill in this side now. All right, this time we're going to have a tortoise wearing a yellow top hat on this side of the image. There's just the top hat sitting in the grass now. No tortoise? Where's my tortoise? All right, this time we're just gonna get a tortoise. No yellow top hat. God, this technology is blowing my mind right now. I knew that inpainting was coming and really, you know, but man, what they did with Adobe Firefly is nothing to scoff at. Mind blowing. All right, this large tortoise is maybe a little too large. All right, we're really struggling to get this tortoise right now. Just go with this for now and circle this area out. There we go. Now we have a turtle sitting in the grass. That's pretty decent. There we go. That's a good one. And this looks weird up here. We're going to remove this. Just going to go with no text at all. And finally, we're going to add a top hat on this tortoise as well. So let's try something else now. It's really struggling to get a top hat on top of this tortoise. I'm wondering, can I like move this around? Okay, I see. I can drag this separately. What if I just start deleting parts of this? So I was able to figure out how to just get the yellow top hat from that image, and now I'll put it right on top of the tortoise. And to make it blend in a little bit better, I'll just sort of select the bottom like this, and we'll just do generative fill, and I'll leave it blank and see if it could just sort of morph it in for me. Just figure it out. And it definitely did just kind of figure it out for me. Really, really impressive. There's our final image. Just ridiculous. Again, I have like zero Photoshop knowledge or skills, so the little AI Copilot plus generative fill, and I was able to do all of this work. Viewers, just this was the image that we started out with, and this is the image that we finally ended up with. We expanded the entire size of the image, we added new characters, and we completely added a theme to the whole thing. I mean, the amount of creativity and the amount of little touch-ups and minute details you can change around with this is mind-blowing. They really did a great job with this generative fill feature, and it's actually a turning point for me. I might start using Photoshop just because of this feature. Before, I was using free programs that still got the job done for me to make thumbnails, but I mean, this is absolutely a game changer. Well, viewers, tell me what you think about all of this down in the comments below. Is this something that you would literally pay for? Because I think that it's that good. It's that useful for me, and it's that much fun that I am probably going to start paying for Photoshop for this. As much as I hate to say it, I don't know, I am seriously impressed. This is the best in painting, this is the best out painting I've seen, and yeah, this is a new way to create images. I would love to do further testing on this, so please let me know down in the comments below if you want another video where we dive a little bit deeper. Maybe we could do photos, but also try some digital art and different designs, trying to combine two different designs together, perhaps. This is a really big tool and a really big feature, and I think that it's going to take more than one video to cover all of the different capabilities and really put this thing to the test. Thanks so much for watching, viewers. Join my Discord, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.